Hello, I'm very pleased to be with Kobus Van der Zel, who's going to describe his zero constraints journey since I caught him here at a TOCICO conference, and I wanted him to summarize what got him here, right, when he discovered the zero constraints and what happened since. So tell us, what brought you to an annual conference of the theory of constraints?
Yeah, I think it's a very typical journey maybe, but it's also very unique. I'm a mechanical engineer from background. I studied in the 80s. In the 90s, which was a pivotal moment for me, I went to the South African Navy. It was not my choice. Everyone had to do it. That was before Mandela was released. When I was in my basic training, Mandela was actually released, and my 2 years conscription became 1 year. So I was the first group to only do 1 year in the Navy. But what the Navy taught me was that I am not a very good judge of what I'm capable of. They made me run and do things that I could swear was impossible. And that was just when I started my business career. And I think it was a good thing, because most people don't get that opportunity to be challenged to their full potential. And I've been trying to get that full potential out of people ever since. So now some people say I'm known for that, for taking people on that journey. And I enjoy it, certainly, and I've hopefully left a deep mark in the companies that we've saved. So I started working for a multinational in Johannesburg. After doing my first career was in a large national corporation that was quite dysfunctional. I first worked in their Cape Town plant, which everyone just looked at the clock for 4 o'clock to come so that they can go fishing and go into the mountains. But then I also worked at their Port Elizabeth plant, and you couldn't believe the difference in the people. Both were the same people, South African people trying their best to make ends meet, but the one was total apathy, the other one was total engagement and pride of their work. So I saw that early on, which also helped me in my career to say, if that can develop over time, you can influence any company to become like that. And I got inspired by that early on. So I then got hired to run a plant for an underground coal mining equipment manufacturer in Johannesburg. We made battery underground coal hauling equipment, very exciting products. And then we emigrated to Canada. My wife wanted to leave South Africa. It was dangerous. There were a lot of bad things happening, and I wanted to see a bigger pond. So we immigrated to Canada. The Canadians are super nice people, but the government gets involved in business in a way that I couldn't do these people engagement projects at the highest level. Every time I tried to get an owner of a business to really go all the way, they will stop doing it and rather take a handout from the government. And I said, my life is too short for this. So I came to the US in 2008, and I've been working in Chicago ever since. So I became a certified turnaround professional. I wrote the book, The Forces of Progress, in 2006, before the financial crisis, before I came to the US. And that is about the experiences I encountered, some of it which I just mentioned, but also others. I saw some patterns in what happens to companies when they get into trouble often, and they are forced, just like I was forced to perform in the Navy. A company is forced to perform when they're in bankruptcy or when they run out of cash. I saw some patterns which I described, and it's almost like forces that you have to overcome. And we can go into that a bit later. So that opened my eyes a little bit wider to how I wanted to work. So I became an interim executive. In the one case where since 99, I only charged for the difference in EBITDA baseline. So I will basically go in and say I will just call, in South Africa it was easy, I call random companies, and I just talk about the rugby of last week, and I get introduced to the CEO, and we start a discussion about how they're doing. And he says he's frustrated, maybe he knows about the goal, maybe not. And then he allows me to do a baseline, a financial baseline. If I beat that, I get 10% of the incremental cumulative EBITDA. It sounds complex, but it's really easy. 10% of additional profit I make them every month. And I've been doing that since 99, and I think that made me really good because I was forcing myself. It was a self-imposed limitation to really make a difference. And I just stuck to that over the years. A few times my marriage almost couldn't handle it because it's a really stressful thing to do. But my wife's amazing and she's been helping me ever since. And we are now such a close couple and how we work together in these situations. And now I've joined Marris Anderson. Marris Anderson is a workout shop. So asset-based lenders, banks that make asset-based loans, when that loan goes bad, if they break covenants, they will give 3 names to the company that has the loan. And that company must pick one of the 3 consultants on that list, and then you have to do the analysis of what can be done. Either liquidate the company, save it, or sell it. And so that is, it sounds like fun business, but it must be very professionally done. So I became a certified turnaround professional to do that. And then in certain situations, like I first did this in Canada, my client basically fired, the US parent fired my client and they put me in charge in this one situation in Canada. That was my first turnaround. Then I became an interim manager where I would 50% of the time be a coach, 50% of the time be an interim manager, and that's what I've done. Now I'm starting to buy companies, which is a long story, but that has been my journey. I'm trying to make a difference using theory of constraints.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. But I know what you've been doing. Indeed, we just saw yet another example of your success stories. And there's the theory of constraints side of what you're doing, but there's also the managerial qualities or the human touch. How do you combine those when you're looking at an opportunity or thinking about intervening or participating in an opportunity?
Yes, that's key. A lot of my competitors, the larger accounting firms or larger consulting firms, will send in a team, even in these debt default situations. Yeah. They will send in a team of people to come and fix things. I always resisted that. I always wanted to make the team that's there accountable. So what I write in my book about is you have to overcome a few forces. So first of all, they are, most of the time they're pushing. So you have to take them from push to pull. And that is counterintuitive. That's what Ellie described in the book, the goal, is you have to find Herbie and you have to tie a rope and you have to tie the release and drain the excess inventory and cash, which releases such a lot of money in a bankruptcy situation. It's one of the biggest surprises I have is why more professionals are not doing this more in these bankruptcy situations. But that is, so you overcome a series of forces. The other force is we are not wired the same way. So I do these DISC assessments so that I can match the person's wiring. A president, for instance, has a certain wiring which is very different to a VP of sales, which is very different to a controller. So I match every person to their profile, and then we have an open discussion. We just don't let people go or anything like that. We have an open discussion. We say, Philip, your challenge will be on this aspect number 3. Look at your variance here. And what do you think about it? You answer the questions to get to this. And here's the mentorship path out. That opens, now some people get mad and they are trying to prove you wrong, or people comply with it. But either case, you get a peak in performance lifts. So that helps you, and then we start with where are the bottlenecks, how well are they operating, and what else can we do to optimize cash.
I get the theory of constraints, inventory side of things, and the business case financial evaluation, but I'm just wondering how you create the human cocktail of the qualities of management. And we just had yet another example where one of the reasons it was such a great success was that the person you worked with was a very good manager who got, who was mastered the people side of things.
Oh yes, yeah. So that is something that is very important, and it's become more and more important as we go through a business cycle, I think. In the 90s, Jack Welch could get away with a very tough management style where people were shouting at each other in boardrooms. You can't do that anymore. You have to be very politically correct nowadays. And it's not only that you have to be, it really pays off. So if you can use those skills together with the process improvement skills, because a team, you can only keep a team happy with the soft management skills as long as you show them that they are performing better as a team. If they are not going to over time perform better as a team, that will start deteriorating and it's not sustainable. So balancing those is what I've learned to be the key.
Okay, well, thank you very much. If I can summarize, Kobus has become an expert in turning around companies by mixing in that sweet spot between using the theory of constraints and the people element of what in some environments is called the inverted pyramid. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Philip. Pleasure.